It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hello, what's happening, everybody? Yes, it is showtime. Pop, it is showtime. It is time for the Geno Jones Daily Variety Show right here live on my YouTube channel. So we do this Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:30 in Chicago, if you're in Chicago, maybe in Houston, Texas, 3:30 out in Los Angeles, the city of angels, Los Angeles, and maybe out in the Bay Area, or up in Portland, Oregon, where my oldest daughter, my firstborn, Lauren, a.k.a. Boogie, Lauren Hill Vaughn, and my son-in-law. So today's show brought to you by Lockwood Outdoor Advertising, converting cars to cash. That's right, converting cars to cash money, honey. It is, by the way, you know, we are all about supporting black businesses here on the Geno Jones Show. It is the only African-American owned outdoor digital advertising company here in the state of South Carolina. See your company's name, your product, your goods, your services, your logo up in lights and attract an entirely new client base, an entire new market right here in the Carolinas, which is a huge tourist destination, just a lot of folks. So reach out to them. It is lockwoodoutdoor.com, lockwoodoutdoor.com, all one word, or call 843-442-5011. Tell them Geno told you to call. All right, give them a call. Call them, as a matter of fact, call them today. Call them after the show, 843-442-5011, or send them that email and tell them the Geno, spelled with a G and E. Today is day 4 of the Derek Chauvin murder trial, who was legally accused of the murder of George Floyd. We all saw it on videotape. The biggest headline coming out of today's news was that Derek Chauvin's former boss, a retired police officer, retired lieutenant, under this very choppy, and I could imagine how the jurors have to feel, because it's kabuki dance. But I understand. But anyway, the headline out of today's trial, out of today's witnesses, was Derek Chauvin's former boss, who basically said that once George Floyd was restrained, force was no longer necessary. Let me say that again. Once George Floyd, or the suspect, was restrained, because George Floyd was restrained, he was handcuffed, his hands, actually, he was handcuffed with his hands behind his back, and also there were restraints on his ankles. And on top of it, Derek Chauvin had his knee on George Floyd's neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. Derek Chauvin had his knee on the neck of George Floyd 4 minutes and 4.5 minutes, nearly 5 minutes after George Floyd was unconscious. Just keep that in mind. I just want to put that in perspective. So George Floyd's own boss said that after George Floyd was restrained, the force that Derek Chauvin used, the knee on the neck, for 9 minutes and 29 seconds, was not necessary. So, as a matter of fact, what we're going to do, I want to get right into it today. Today is Thursday. I've got one of my favorite contributors, ladies and gentlemen. You see her just about every week, and I appreciate her generosity when it comes to her time, media personality, educator, just all-around talent, sorority sister, coming to the Geno Jones Show right here, right now. Ladies and gentlemen, there's my people right there repping the 313, the 248, and all those other area codes that I can't remember. Miss Kelia Karson on camera. Hello, Kelia. How are you? Oh, unmute you. I unmuted you, but unmute you. There you go.
Oh, that helps. Hi, Geno. Hi,
Hey,
everybody.
How you doing, Keith?
Oh, you know, I must be zoomed out when
Hey,
yeah.
I know. Hey, listen, I appreciate you. All right, listen, speaking of zoomed out, I You know, this Derek Chauvin trial, obviously, for obvious reasons, I've got to watch. I got to know what's going on because part of my job is to give my take to my viewers. But it's draining, Key. I can only
Yeah,
imagine, and oh my
yeah,
God, I can only imagine what his family is going through. I can only imagine what the jurors are going through. And so I know you heard the monologue. I thought the biggest story today that came out of the trial that Derek Chauvin's former boss, the lieutenant,
in it.
who was
Yeah.
his boss at the time, who's retired now, and I'd really like to know, did this incident have anything to do, play any part in his retiring? Because I could imagine emotionally it had to be a lot for him. But the most revealing thing out of today's testimony was that former boss of Derek Chauvin saying that once that George Floyd was restrained, and like we said, keep in mind, not only was George Floyd restrained because his hands were handcuffed behind his back, his legs, his ankles were also restrained.
Hmm.
But that wasn't enough. But according to Derek Chauvin's own boss, he said after he was restrained that force was no longer necessary. So we haven't talked since last week. So the trial began Monday. So give me your
Yeah.
take on these first 4 days.
Well, first of all, I mean, the emotion of it all is
Yeah.
beyond overwhelming. Um, over the years, we have become accustomed to uh, watching the different big high stake trials
Yeah.
on television, i.e., OJ and Menendez brothers, and I can go on and on.
George Zimmerman with
Um,
Trayvon Martin
Yep,
case.
Trayvon. Um, oh boy, I almost forgot about that. I mean,
Yeah.
it seems like a lifetime ago, and we've gone nowhere.
Thank you.
We're still exactly where we were then. But so we're getting used to watching these trials, but the emotion of this one is none like any I've seen ever in any of the big trials that have been televised. And I mean everyone. It is clear across the board. I don't care the race, the position that they have held. I mean, it is equally as emotional for the emergency texts that were there
Yes.
as it is with um, the uh, the gentleman who was kind of like the neighborhood watchdog.
The older
That
gentleman. Yeah.
the older gentleman, right,
Yeah.
that said he ran into the officer
Chauvin.
Chauvin 5 days prior. So the emotion is the same across the board, and it is it's gut wrenching
Yeah.
to see people um in saying that here it is before their eyes, they're watching a man die, and they didn't know what to do, even with pleading with the officer to you know, let up or check his
Yeah.
pulse or,
Yes.
please stop this. They couldn't do anything, and I imagine even someone said yesterday. I think it was the teenager that said the guilt,
Yes.
associated with not being able to help,
It,
and the trauma.
right. Well, it's funny you mentioned the teenagers. So there were four young people. So yesterday, the kid who sold George Floyd cigarettes, the kid who
Yeah,
was actually given the $20 bill, you
yeah,
saw the video where the kid is holding this $20
right.
bill up to the light, and this young man, he's 18 now or 19 now.
19.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's 19 now. He was 18 at the time, and he said, because when they asked him, you saw him outside, and so in real time, while George Floyd is laying on the street, laying in the
Hmm.
street dead, so you see the kid with his hands on his head, and they asked him,
Hmm.
uh, what was he feeling, and he said, I just wish that I just wouldn't have taken the bill, and
Right.
none of this
and
would have
and you
happened.
know and you can't blame him, because in real time, because it's always easy to say in hindsight what one would do, right?
Hmm.
But in the actual moment, what he was thinking about is the punishment that comes along with an employee who accepts a fake bill, that it then comes out of their pay.
Right. He mentioned that. Yes, he did.
Right. And so you can't blame him for that,
Right.
because how much money is he making at the cup,
What, minimum wage maybe?
corner
Yeah.
store?
Yeah.
Exactly. And $20 out of his pay,
It's
that's a lot of money.
Right. And keep
you're
in mind.
not
Go ahead, finish.
and you're not thinking that 15 minutes later, some man is going to be dead outside because of this.
And let's put this in context. So he tells his boss that I believe this guy gave me a fake $20 bill. So his boss now, so his boss sends this kid out to do his dirty work. So he sends the kid out. And you see the video, I don't know if you may have seen it yesterday. You saw the kid, because they had so much surveillance video from the stores and
from all different directions.
The body cam, they got all like the body cam video from all 4 officers. So you see this kid walking across the street, and you see him going to the car. George Floyd didn't want to go back in. So the kid went back inside and said, listen, he didn't want to come back in. So the kid didn't call the police. So we should set the record straight. The kid's supervisor called the police. But speaking of kids, Key, and I got a segue, and I know because I know you, and I know this hit you, and you have a daughter, so I know this hit you, and being a mother, it hit you like it hit me. But the most heartbreaking, just beyond compelling, it was just really heartbreaking and just emotional testimony came from Darnella. She was the young lady who was at the time 17 that shot the video that went viral, the initial video. And I'm just paraphrasing, she said, I wake up at nights and I apologize to George Floyd because I didn't physically intervene. I apologize because I didn't save George Floyd's life. And then she went on to say, but I shouldn't have had to save George Floyd's life. The police officer who had his knee on his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds should have saved George Floyd's life. And to hear her breaking down, because she said when she saw George Floyd, she sees her dad, her brothers, her uncles, and it was just, she sees all black people, but that was a black man. She said, my daddy, my brothers, my uncles are black men. And I saw them when I saw George Floyd. And I don't know if you saw it in real time, but I did. And it took everything I had. I was at my day job at the radio station doing my radio show. And it took everything I had, Key, just not to lose it. My heart, just thinking about it, it aches for that child. Because that vision, she's got to live with this forever, Key.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. What was your take when you heard her testimony?
Well, by the time they got to her, I was already traumatized.
Yeah.
So every bit of testimony, including hers, is just another blow to the gut, to my gut, and the pain that people had to. What I felt is that these people have to forever live with this trauma
and guilt.
Post-traumatic stress disorder. That's where I'm sure many of these people are, because it's one thing to hear about or to watch it after the fact. When you're in real time watching this go down like this,
up close and personal, feet away from you, you watch someone die.
Yeah, this lingers like your worst nightmare, and you can't make it go away.
No,
it's etched into your DNA now. And to know that people have to live with this now for the rest of their lives. And I don't know that Chauvin is attached to that part of the trauma, that he has traumatized so many people.
Yes, that 9-year-old baby that testified that
Yeah.
said she said like the paramedics, she said they asked the police officer nicely to take his knee off his neck, and he wouldn't do it. I was like, oh my God, this is a baby, 9 years old.
No, and when I heard what the defense is characterizing as a mob scene, I was like, because you don't know, you weren't there, so you wait for the video and the audio was not. The audio was definitely, they had some people on there saying some things, but they should have been.
Thank you.
Because "Oh Please Help" wasn't working, so maybe if I call you an MF,
something. Because they're witnessing. They're witnessing.
Yes.
You are killing a human being.
A human.
You can hear the life leaving his body. He's crying for his dead mother. He's like, I can't breathe. I'm dying. I'm gonna die. Come on.
Listen, you know how people say, well, if I was there, but you know what? I know for a fact that if I was there, I probably would have been shot, because I was in the nail salon one time, and I don't know what. Well, you know how the one of the women got into an argument with one of the workers, and I don't know what kind of crazy he was on. He pulled out a gun, and I jumped up.
Who was the he that pulled the gun in this?
It was a worker at the nail salon.
Okay, and the worker pulled a gun.
Yes, on the client.
Wow.
Because she was unhappy with her service. Geno, I jumped up so fast and I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. I said, we can't do this. I am almost touching the gun because I got it, kind of like my hand over his to kind of push it.
Yeah. Wow.
I ain't never been so scared but I could not let that man shoot. That made the news here locally.
You kept that secret from me. You didn't tell. Obviously, this was after I left Detroit, but you didn't. You held this one out on your boy. You didn't tell, but you know what? I know you, so I am not surprised. Not at all.
And I bring this up to say that I know what that feeling is like when this salon was full of women. Just coming there to get their feet done, and after the long, hard week of work, and their little spa time, quiet time, woosah, me. And I was like, whoa, we can't, And so I'm saying that I recognize that split second decision that you make in the effort to help someone.
Right. Well, you know what the MMA,
selfless,
right?
Selfless.
Sorry to jump in. I just wanted to kind of piggyback and reinforce what you were saying, because the testimony, you heard the MMA fighter say that I knew physically, he knew he could have intervened and like in a couple seconds subdued Derek Chauvin, but he said basically that he knew that he would have succumbed to the same fate that George Floyd did, basically.
Right.
And the 17-year-old, she said the same thing.
Right.
She knew that they would have killed her. Like she felt Chauvin would have killed her or the other officer like they did George Floyd.
If any of those individuals had stepped toward Chauvin during the time he was on the ground in a threatening manner, those other cops that had free access to their weapon, that were not sitting on Floyd at the feed or whatever.
And that was the Asian cop. He was really the one that was kind of like the bodyguard, standing in front of Chauvin and the other two officers who you couldn't see really from the initial videotape that went viral, because the car was blocking them, but they were on his. They had his knee,
Right.
their knee like on his back, like, and Chauvin had the knee on the neck.
And they would any cop that had free access to their weapon would have been compelled to shoot anyone that approached Chauvin as a threat.
Yes.
Because as an officer, you're not trained to, let me think. What are they gonna? No. You have to react. And you can't let someone approach an officer, whether he's killing somebody or not. I mean, so that would have been our worst nightmare. I mean, this is bad, but that would have been. So now, in addition to a man who has not been proven guilty of anything just yet being killed, now we're going to have an innocent bystander trying to save the victim being killed.
On video, in front of children.
On video, right. So, everyone deserves a defense. So Chauvin has to, and his lawyers have to get up there and do their thing. But I got my shirt on today. You can't see it. It says, pray. You see, pray. Did you see it?
What was the word underneath pray?
Oh, well, that's my other word, hustle.
Okay, there you go.
Hustle.
I like that. Yeah, pray.
We got to pray and we got to hustle. But we got to pray because I don't think the country can handle an innocent verdict. And I don't think Chauvin's going to get it, because the Floyd case was the case where white America said, oh, this is too much. And let me say this. I don't think it was just because of the horrifying display on video. They were all at home because it was
everybody,
COVID.
Right. Everybody was in quarantine. That's point.
Right. We were locked down. Everybody was at home, really watching the news.
Yeah.
Really paying attention. And they said, is this what y'all been talking about? Yes.
Yes.
The stuff that you're not even paying attention to.
All 9 minutes and 29 seconds.
Yes.
Because initially, everyone thought that it was 8 minutes and 46 seconds. But after the prosecution, they went back and because they got a chance. You saw the initial interaction between Derek Chauvin and George Floyd, which was completely wrong. So first of all, okay, you get a call because supposedly the dude allegedly passed on a fake $20 bill. Did you ever stop to think, first of all, he could have got the fake 20 and didn't know it, unless he's got a trained eye. I mean, I got a trained.
I don't know that we emphatically know that it was fake.
Right, but I'm playing this game. I'm gonna play along.
Right.
Because listen, I got a pretty good eye, but if you're a pretty good counterfeiter, me and you could be fooled. Especially if it's a stack of, let's say if we get three, we get change or heck, you could wind up, it could happen. You could get it from the ATM machine.
Come on.
Somehow you get 3 or 4 or 5 20s, and one of those 20s happen to be, how many times do we honestly, every time and very few, because now we don't even really touch money. Everything is on a card. But how many times someone gives you, they owe you a couple $100 or whatever, and they give it to you in 20s, and are we?
No, never. I never did it.
Okay, so that's one point. So, but even if he did know, Key, he's sitting in the car, chilling. So Chauvin comes to the car. How does he come to the car, Key? With his gun drawn, tapping on the window with the gun. I'd be like, whoa, what? Wait, dude, what? Are we doing this? What are we doing? What if
we're expected as humans, as Black humans, to be mistreated and be happy about it.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to have normal reactions like, oh Lord, why do you have this gun in my face? And and we're not supposed to have normal reactions like, Why are you taking me to jail? I didn't do anything. We're not supposed to have normal reactions like, um, I can videotape you because I don't trust you. Um, we're supposed to be magically so okay with life and being oppressed that we just fall in line. And that's not realistic. We are afraid to death of you. So the fear that Black people express when they have encounters with the cops is 25 to the 700th power greater than any other human being on this planet, because we are afraid. We're not afraid of going to jail. We're afraid of being killed.
Thank you. Right. We're
That's
not
a big
we're
difference.
not afraid of, getting points on our license, or maybe
Oh, right. Oh,
our license
please.
being suspended, or
Please.
our insurance, our policy being
Yeah.
canceled, or rates going up. We are afraid that we won't even survive this interaction. I
Yeah.
just want to live. Damn the
Yeah.
ticket. Don't
Right.
kill me.
And trust me, I would have preferred a bullet than to endure that 9 minutes and 29 seconds,
Yeah.
28 seconds.
29, yeah, 9:29.
Yeah, I would have just shoot me. I know, because that's torture.
It is.
You and I work in media. I don't think people, when you really think about it acutely, think about how long 9 minutes is.
And then add on another 29 seconds.
Right.
Wow.
Every second feels like an hour. And someone is on your neck for 9 minutes, almost 10 minutes.
Almost 10 minutes. That's right. And,
Yeah. So, yeah, yeah.
I know.
I don't even.
I'm with you. And I was,
Yeah.
I got to get this rant off my chest. This is going to be short. Now, I understand that the Constitution provides that every person is innocent until proven guilty, and you are
Well,
entitled to
except for blacks,
legal defense. I get
we're
that.
guilty
Right.
until proven
Yeah,
innocent. They're a
well, right,
different.
yeah, yeah. Well, remember that same Constitution said that black men were 3/5
For a
human,
third, yeah,
right?
right. We
And
3/5.
and the
Yeah.
same Constitution didn't even mention women at all. It didn't even mention white women, let alone black women.
Right.
So
Period.
that's all. So let's just put this in context. But the point I'm trying to make is that, so I understand that a defendant is legally entitled to a defense. But I just hope that these jurors, but all it takes is one. All it takes is a sympathizer. One sympathizer, one MAGA sympathizer, one racist, one juror that subscribes to this ideology of hate and white nationalism, and all it takes is one key. But I just hope that people understand George Floyd is not on trial. So the fact that he had an issue, he had an opioid addiction, he was fighting an opioid addiction like he and his girlfriend were. His girlfriend
Yep.
was on
Your girlfriend was
trial.
on today.
And credit to the prosecution, because they're like, okay, since you all gonna throw this dirt, we gonna dig up our own dirt, okay? However, so they're trying to say, well, he had an underlying unknown heart condition, and he was addicted to, these pills, or he was addicted to opioids. I don't give a damn if he was addicted to opioids, crystal meth, you name it, cocaine, weed, alcohol. I don't care what kind of condition his heart was in. Before Derek Chauvin put his knee on the neck of that man, George Floyd, for 9 minutes and
Was a
29
lie.
seconds, I saw a video literally seconds before you put your knee on his neck, Mr. Chauvin. This dude was, okay, yeah, he was high, probably was. He was happy. He was dancing around in the store key. He was walking around. He was smiling. He was talking to folks. He was fine. So whatever opioid addiction he had, whatever underlying heart condition he had, it wasn't that bad. It didn't kill him.
No, if George Floyd was sitting in the back of his car or the front of his car or whatever with a kilo of cocaine, strapped to his forehead, he still did not deserve, because
To be
we
murdered.
don't want to we
Yeah.
don't want to confuse one thing for another. You can commit a crime, go to jail, have due process, have a defense, just like Chauvin is having, right? That doesn't uh, suspicion of a crime doesn't equate to death.
No. And
So
and nowhere in the Constitution, in any state constitution, state law, that puts law enforcement officers, patrol officers on the street, you are not judge, jury, and executioner.
no,
Your job, if you see someone violating the law, your job, you have the power to arrest. All right? And according to Derek Chauvin's own boss, once again, I'm going to keep repeating this. He said it under oath in court. His former lieutenant, his former supervisor said that once that George Floyd was restrained, and we know he was restrained with handcuffs, ankle ties, and a knee on the neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. But he said once he was restrained, Key, the force that was used against George Floyd,
unnecessary.
on George Floyd, was not necessary.
That's right. So
So all that other BS, and I gotta call it what it was, all that other bullshit that I saw today and all this, it's been like a kabuki dance. And I get it. You know, your job is to defend this man and try to keep him from going to jail. But sometimes, I mean, trust your eyes and trust your humanity. Remember how you felt when that little 18-year-old girl who was 17, that child, that baby, says now she can't sleep because here she is in the middle of the night apologizing to a dead man because she said that she should have physically somehow intervened against 4 cops. 1 cop with his knee on the neck, 3 other cops, all with guns, who would have shot her just as quick as they would have shot anybody else, Key. Being a 17-year-old black girl child would have meant a damn thing. Ask the mother Tamir Rice if that would have mattered when they shot her son down and he was 12 years old.
yeah, I mean, like I think I mentioned that earlier. Anyone who would have approached him
You did.
would have been shot.
If you'd have stepped off that, because when Tao, the Asian officer, said, get back on the curb, and the MMA fighter, he knew, he got back on the curb.
That's right.
The EMS worker who was off duty, who we saw in trial, she was like, okay, well, if you don't want me to go ahead and try to revive him, you all can do it. Engage in chest compressions. She said, I will walk you or talk you through it. If you won't let me do it, somebody save this man's life. She said she noticed, and you know, I saw, but I didn't pay attention to it. But she talked about how you probably saw, if you watched the video long enough, all of a sudden you saw some liquid kind of run down, almost kind of from his body. And she said that was probably his bladder was releasing.
Releasing.
Yeah.
Because when you die, for people who don't know that process, you usually do 2 things. You exacerbate, you have this breath, like you have that, and your bladder relaxes and releases. So that is absolutely normal when it comes to a person dying. When they are dead,
and this
that
woman,
is what happens.
right? And the EMT saw it. She noticed that. So I have to turn off keys sometimes because really. So when the defense attorneys come on, I can't do it. I'm like, okay, because I know where this is going.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I have it on, but I can't watch it as intently as I thought I could. You know, I thought I was a big girl, and then
you are a big girl, but you're just human. You have a sense of humanity and compassion and empathy.
Yeah, it was hard on Monday.
Yeah,
and it
Monday
was hard on
worse.
Tuesday. And then I said, okay, Wednesday. I said, okay, I can't focus on watching every inch of this because it's just too hard. So I put it on, and when certain people hit the stand, then I try to, hear a little bit of it, like the girlfriend today and a lot of the emergency workers that were there. So, but um, the defense has a right to its case, but and I will be watching because I just want to hear how they're going to spin it, and they already are,
Right.
but I don't know if this is going to work because they pulled out their trump card so early, which makes sense, but it also gave the prosecution an opportunity to slam it and bake it into the cake. Like, yeah, okay, so what? He was on opioids.
Well, the
That
good
doesn't mean that you get to kill him.
right, and the good thing, the prosecution key, they brought these issues up first
Yes,
because
yeah,
the prosecution leads off.
yeah,
So
and they knew that it was coming.
right, they introduced this
Yeah,
to the jurors. They're like, you're
right,
going to hear this. And
right.
yes, Mr. Floyd, there was whatever drug, fentanyl, whatever drug was found in the system. Yeah, you're going to hear this. They basically said, listen, they're going to try to trash this man and trash his character. They're going to talk about, well, he had an underlying heart condition and blah, 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 blah. But all of that apparently wasn't that bad because you will see that he was walking around seconds before they put this knee on this man's neck. He was walking around, he was dancing in the store, he was talking, he was just sitting. Chauvin walks up and taps and takes his gun and taps on his window with his gun. He was fine, he was sitting there, he was able to talk. So
Yeah,
let's stay forward.
We'll see how this plays out, but I am praying, as my shirt says, for a guilty verdict.
Yeah.
And that's the end of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to hear about nothing else but
No.
guilty, guilty.
Right. Tomorrow's Good Friday. Sunday is Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday. So yeah, we pray.
Yes.
So let's make a hard but a good pivot, a great pivot. Let's talk.
Okay.
I haven't had a chance to talk to you since last Saturday night. Tina, I talked about it last Friday on the show. Tina, the HBO documentary. This was Tina Turner's, according to Tina, according to her husband. This was her farewell to America.
To her fans.
Wow. So you got the floor, my sister.
I mean, I am a long time Tina fan. Sometimes I wonder if I'm obsessed. I hope I'm not, but whatever it is, I love her. And I was shocked when I saw the promo for the video with those words on it. Like you said, this is her farewell and goodbye. And I was like, uh-oh, what's going on? And she suffered a stroke. She suffered with kidney.
She had a kidney transplant.
Yep, transplant.
And colon cancer. All back to back to back.
Yeah, and so I get it that she says in the documentary, and I want people to be able to see it, but I do want to say this without being a spoiler. She does say that basically here is my opportunity to control how I say goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean she's going to be gone tomorrow or, the day after, but she can plan some things and do some things. So the things she planned was the documentary, the play.
Yes.
And, a quick visit to say farewell and auf Wiedersehen. She lives in Switzerland now.
Yeah.
And has for many, many years. But yeah, she just wants to control that piece of history. She wants to say that her fans got a farewell.
And she got to tell her story in her own words. Because
Gina, she had the book, obviously.
Right.
Tina. And she had the movie. But what people don't understand about the book and the movie is that at the time that it was done, Tina was trying to tell you the story and get on with her life.
Yes.
She had the false illusion that she could write and do this movie, produce this movie, and back this movie, and then just walk away, and no one ever talked about, the abuse that she suffered with Ike, the disconnect in terms of relationship with her mother.
Mm-hmm.
So she had to reconcile with that and backtrack and go, okay, let me explain myself. I know that those bad things happen, but I had to move on because there was no way for me to healthily deal with that.
Right.
She just didn't know how to deal with the pain. And so she wanted to say to the fans, I don't hate the movie. I don't hate the book. I don't, I had a bad life and I wanted to move on and I didn't know how.
Right. And
so that is why you have this documentary.
Right. And she didn't want to keep talking about it. And she mentioned in the documentary that when she wrote the book, and she really thought once the movie came out, then that would kind of put things to rest. But actually, It made it worse.
Because, well, that's what I said. She had this illusion.
Yeah.
But no, then the interest grew, and when we look at stuff like that, we go, "Oh my God, Tina," But when you see a movie, all you're seeing is, the 2-3 times that he hit her or what. You're not seeing the hot coffee literally being poured. You're not seeing the beatings with hangers. You're not seeing the beatings with the shoe stretcher,
yeah, and then in essence,
rape. And then sex.
Yeah, it was like he would beat me and then make me have. So in essence, that was rape.
Well, that's
spousal rape.
That's normal for a lot of abusers. People call it makeup sex.
Spousal rape. That's what it is.
Spousal rape.
Spousal rape.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
and then when you're looking at it in the totality of her head, so this is 5,000 times I've been beaten, burned, raped.
Yes.
So when someone says, "Well, why don't you want to talk about?" Listen, you go live with Ike for a week. I don't want to deal with that no more. I just want to get this out of me and get as far away from it as I can.
Because every time people ask her about it, she's triggered. So she's reliving it, like you said. Yeah. So she's reliving this 5,000 times because she got 5,000 people are asking her this question, or she's being asked 5,000 times. So it's triggering, and she's reliving this each and every time, and she's gotten away from it. She's released Private Dancer. She's gone on tour. She went to Rio Key and performed in front of 180,000 people.
Yeah. But see, the problem with that is that's what good therapists would say is avoidance. And so Tina, in her own words, she's never really dealt with the trauma in a clinical way.
Yeah,
she dealt with it by, the way that most of us, as Black people especially, Black women, we say, "Oh, I got to postpone this nervous breakdown because I got stuff to do. I got kids to raise, a family to feed, and I got to take care of myself. So I ain't got time to be crazy." So we just tuck it away and try to move on. So she's never dealt with it in the clinical way.
Right. Her escape was her performance. And because she was so phenomenal, she was so like once in a generation, once in a lifetime. Yeah. And, there was something that was so poignant. And it really, I felt it. And I felt for her. And I really, physically, it hurt me. She said that no one ever loved me.
Yeah.
My mother, my father. Yep. She told the story how they just left the house one day. both of them, and never came back, and never sent any money. And she just, without spoiling everything, but she just talked about how you could hear the anger because she was using profanity. She was like, nobody ever loved me. Nobody. It was like
Yeah,
the only
she
love.
wanted to. She knew how beautiful she was inside. She never felt pretty outside, but she knew how beautiful she was inside, and she questioned why can't anybody see that love in me and return that love? Just love me, and that's deep.
But you know what's
That's
what's
deep.
what's 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 so sick about that, or sad, and not sick in a. This is not a disparaging way towards her, but the sickness is when people make you believe that you're not attractive physically. This was a beautiful one.
I think she's beautiful.
She's still beautiful after
Yeah.
after a stroke,
Yeah.
a kidney transplant, colon cancer, just the type of physical abuse and spousal rape, just horrible, and everything that came along with that mentally and emotionally, and somehow to survive that, man. I know black don't crack, but what this woman has gone through, and at 81, she
Yeah, and
is
she's
still a
beautiful.
beautiful woman. At
Beautiful
81,
was beautiful
yes,
from the get-go, but you know, because of these other images that not only we have to endure as women looking at, but that we have to compete with
yeah,
in the minds of the men that we love.
yes.
um
Tell
I
it.
get it.
Go on,
I
say
get
it.
it.
Tell it.
uh
You
but
tell it.
at some point you got to step in front of the mirror and say, listen, girl, you's a baddie. And
Oh no,
you
you can say it.
fine.
No, you can say it. That's right.
Well,
Look
you
in the
know I'm
mirror,
not gonna say it. I'll
Tina. You look in the mirror and say, "I'm a bad bitch," because hey, listen, these young
yeah.
folks, these young rappers like
Yeah, they
Trina,
saying it.
Meg Thee Stallion, and Cardi B. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm a bad bitch.
they're saying it.
They
They're
saying
saying it. And
it.
we are beautiful, and that's why I'm so happy to see this movement. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having your hair processed. Heck, I had perm, wig,
So you done
weave,
it
you
all.
name it. I had it all. Um, but I'm glad to see the movement of the natural beauty, only because it's helping women in a way that we didn't have the help when we were going through other phases of our hair and our look. I'm glad we have um, cosmetic lines now by us, for us,
Yes.
with lip color that matches our skin and pigment, and the pigment and the makeup really shows up on our skin, and that we can feel beautiful in our own hair and not have to do something because it makes someone else feel good, or it makes the boss feel more comfortable to have us in the office. And and I look at people like Tina and Diana, and who had to endure that assassination of their beauty for an audience that was more vanilla.
And to conform
Yes.
to a European standard of beauty
Yes.
that didn't apply.
Yes.
And
And they did it.
and can I say this, Key? Let me just say this. One of the amazing things about black people, and one of the amazing and beautiful things about black women, is that black women, like black people, you all's beauty comes in all
Yes.
shades, hair textures, sizes, curly or thick fro, or if you want to
Name it.
twist it or lock it, or if you want to perm it, it's all good.
Or
And
if it's naturally silky straight.
yes, and that's
We
my
have
whole
black
point.
women, we run it, we got blonde, naturally blonde black women.
And all of this diversity, this word diversity, this variety, that's the beauty
That's the
in the
beauty.
variety. And the great thing, you can tell I grew up in a house full of women, is that, black women will change a hairstyle or color up, and it's beautiful. I love it. It's like, hey, listen, I'm rocking. I got the thick Angela Davis fro,
Today.
or I might want to kind of make it a little wavier, or I might want to lock it, or I might want to go ahead and French braid it, because when the white women did it, when Bo Derek did it, and everybody went crazy, like somehow she invented like cornrows, or back in the day we called it French braiding.
Cornrows,
right. So you can tell I'm old school. We call it French braiding.
Right.
And then I might want to go ahead and I might want to, with like a, hot comb it or have it straightened out and then flip it up the next day.
Yeah.
You all can do that. Boom, there you go.
We wear a blonde wig, a red wig, all in the same week. I mean, this is a part of how anyone wants to express themselves. Mm-hmm. And why should we be any different?
Yeah.
White men cut their hair any old kind of way they want, or not cut it, or whatever. Caucasian women dye their hair red, purple, green. Nobody says anything. We should have the freedom to wear an afro, cornrows, French braids, weave, whatever we want, without repercussion. So when I look at Tina, who, by the way, made her own wigs, in case anybody didn't know.
Oh, did she? No, I didn't know that. Was that in the documentary?
No.
Okay.
But I'm a super fan.
I see. You got one of them Tina wigs, huh?
If you look at Tina's hair, that's why people would look at it and go, what is so unique? She made her wigs. Wow. Because she wanted them to move a certain way and to feel a certain way. And remember that when Oprah, I don't know if you remember, when Oprah had Tina on and went on the Tina Break Every Rule, I think, tour.
I remember.
With Tina, and Oprah kept wearing that wig. Yeah. And Gail told her one day, you got to take that wig back. Oprah wore that wig for a year on her show. Like it was regular.
I guess Oprah said, why not? Tina gave it to me, damn it. It's on my head, it's mine now. I'm wearing it.
I guess. But I was right there with her, because I would have wore that wig until that wig beat me up. Because I love Tina just like that. So Oprah escorted her to the play, as a matter of fact. I saw it. Yeah, she did. So I'm excited that Tina got to release a documentary where she can have her final say about the perception of her, about her reality. And I'm glad the fans will have that and can tuck it away, and Tina can go ahead and just sail out the rest of her life the way she wants to.
Live it out in peace.
She just wants to be quiet now. And she mentioned that. How do you go away?
She did.
Is what she said. How do you go away? And so I want her to have that moment like we all wish we could. We all wish we could gather our family together and say, this is it. This is the last go around. Let's drink it up, party up, or whatever we're going to do. But after that, I'm done.
Right.
I'm just going to
exit stage left.
Yep. Exit stage left and do what I do. So kudos to Tina. And also, Mahalia comes on, I think, Saturday. I already saw it pre-screening, but the story of Mahalia Jackson, especially for our older audience who, or your older audience, Geno, who is very familiar with her gospel singing and her career, that is on Lifetime this weekend.
Yep, the greatest gospel singer ever.
Ever.
All right. Even trust me, folks like Shirley Caesar, and you talk to some of the current greats, they'll be like, "Oh no, Mahalia." Mahalia still is the standard.
Yeah.
Aretha would tell Mahalia.
Oh yeah.
Mahalia.
Aretha said that Mahalia taught her and others how to handle their money.
Oh really? Yeah, I heard Mahalia. Now this is the Lifetime special.
You had to pay her.
Yeah. Now, and keep in mind, Lettucey is going to be playing Mahalia in a movie that's going to be released later this year.
Yes.
So I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see that. And so they picked the right one because they don't have to do any overdubbing for Lettucey. They now it's gonna be some overdubbing, no shade, but I'm just keeping it 1,000. It's gonna be some overdubbing, on this Lifetime special. But
no, it's not Geno. The actress is oh God, I forgot her name, but she has played is it Miss Sophia on Broadway for The Color Purple. She's accomplished and she can sing.
Okay.
So don't worry, Geno. It's in good hands.
Let's put it this way: she ain't Lettucey.
No, she's not Lettucey.
But she'll do a good job.
She's good.
Look, I grade. You may grade it a little easier. You may be a little fairer. You wouldn't want me as an instructor, right? See, I'm not. No, y'all would hate me as an instructor. You're like, damn, Mr. Jones, Jesus, kid, come on. I'm not lowering the standard. This is the bar. So that should be inspiration and motivation for you to come on. Reach or surpass the bar. You could set a new bar, but I'm not gonna lower the bar. Get in the lab and get to work.
Yeah, but listen, Geno, they did the movie in total quarantine pandemic, so it's limited in some of the the jazzier stuff that we can do with film.
Right.
They had to kind of do it how they could do it, considering what was going on. But it comes on Lifetime, and if you are a Mahalia Jackson fan, I suggest you watch it. And then when Lettucey comes out, just like we're gonna watch Jennifer Hudson when the other Aretha came out, we watched Cynthia Erivo.
Erivo, yes.
Erivo. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always say that improperly. I'm sorry, Erivo. So we're gonna watch both sets of each film.
Yes, we're gonna support the sisters. I'm all
That's
with that.
Right.
I didn't say don't support her. I'm just saying, may be a little overdubbing in there. But Keith said the sister can sing, so I believe he. Because who's playing Mahalia in the Lifetime special this weekend?
I can't think of her name. She's a Broadway actress that came from The Color Purple, and she's done other stuff too. Okay. Well, but The Color Purple is the one I remember her from.
She's in The Color Purple. She had to be able to sing, because they.
Oh no! She can sing.
Yeah. There wasn't no slouches gonna be sneaking in on that. So she had to have some skills.
Yeah, there's no dubbing, and she was one of the producers of this project as well.
Okay, good deal.
So she brought it.
All right. So what's it? Saturday or Sunday night?
Saturday on Lifetime.
Okay, because Sunday night, 8:00. If you don't have a smart TV, hopefully you got it or whatever. Watch it on your phone or your tablet. Download Triller, that app, so you can watch the versus battle, Earth, Wind, and Fire versus the Isley Brothers. We'll talk about that. But let me just, in closing, Keith, before I let you run, because I know you got to run, we just want to say for those who are like 30 and under, maybe you saw Tina, the documentary, maybe you saw some videos, but please understand something. And I love me some Beyonce. She was phenomenal. But history is important, Key, and I don't think we as a community, we as a culture, as African Americans, a lot of times we do a lousy job teaching our children and our nieces and nephews and grandchildren our history. So when you see Beyonce, I want you to go back and look at this documentary, because when you watch this Tina documentary, you're going to be like, wow, damn. Yeah, energy.
Beyonce has never shied away from talking about her love of Tina Turner. And as a matter of fact, you can look up on YouTube or whatever. Beyonce honors Tina at the Kennedy Center honors when we had it before Trump.
Well, he's gone now. We'll be back.
Yeah. So, but
Uncle
that's
Joe
why you
was
don't
in
see
Joe.
the Kennedy because they refused to work with him. They were like, but Beyonce was one of the people who honored Tina. So, and when you look at him through that lens, you'll go, oh my, how could I not have noticed that there's Tina breathing in Beyonce? So you're right.
Yeah, but I want young people. I want you to go and watch this because this woman was so phenomenal. So she was phenomenal 40 plus when she did Private Dancer in the 80s. But to see the young Tina would be like watching a young Michael Jordan in his prime, or Michael Jackson when he did Thriller and Off the Wall, or when Janet did the Rhythm Nation 1814 tour. Tina, the energy.
Tina was explosive on stage.
And she didn't need pyrotechnics. She only had three dancers.
Three dancers.
She didn't need an orchestra. She didn't need a dance team. She really didn't even need them dancers. She was just looking out for them sisters so they could get a check. Cause Tina didn't even need Ike.
Tina danced
and I
so
knew
hard. Listen, Tina danced so hard that the designers of her shoes had to be specially made for her, and they had steel rods in them. So her stilettos had steel rods in it because she danced so hard and aggressive that the normal shoe would have been obliterated.
Right. In these heels.
Yeah.
And you're the Tina expert. I'm saying it good, at least a good 4 inches, Key.
Oh yeah, 4 or 5 inches
on stage. Look, listen. Don't believe me. Don't believe Keela. Right. Don't believe me. Don't believe Keela. Go look at the documentary. YouTubers, we on YouTube. Tina Turner live performance with Ike Turner. She was phenomenal. Now, if you want sexy, listen. All these outfits that Beyonce was wearing, okay? Tina was doing it in the 60s, shorter. I'm talking about, because they had these mini skirts that was real mini, like damn near up to your navel. That kind of mini. She with the top Tina, oh, come on.
And Tina wasn't worried about being cute. She would be sweating from here and still look good.
That's right. And 0% body fat.
0.
0.0.
And wherever she got those dancers, God bless them. I mean, but for people who watch Oprah's channel OWN, and Sweetie Pie.
Yeah. So, and I say that, so I just want my young people, because, we are prisoners of the moment, and a lot of times, obviously, we will always, whoever is like the star, whoever the icon is in our generation, we tend to hold on to that, including us, as Gen Xers, baby boomers, the whole 9 yards. And Beyonce is the next evolution, but when you see Miss Tina Turner, you could be like, okay, I get it now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the raw,
right?
The rawness of where Beyonce would have come from
as a performer. Michael Jackson, and then you got Prince and Janet Jackson, and I put Beyonce in there. Some folks would argue Bobby Brown. Key is going to argue Jennifer Lopez.
J-Lo.
We debated about that, but I'll save that debate. But trust me, right there at the head of the class is Miss Tina Turner.
Oh, yeah.
Please understand that. And when you watch this video, when you watch the documentary, or you go back and watch some of these videos, you'll be like, oh, snap. What? Wow. Like, yes. Yeah. She was all that and then some.
So your audience has a lot of homework.
Yeah,
they got Tina, they got Mahalia Jackson,
Earth, Wind, and Fire, and the Isley Brothers Sunday,
Earth,
Easter
Wind, and
Sunday.
Fire. The versus battle. Yeah.
So we got a lot, and make sure y'all, if you're going to church, socially distance. I don't trust crowds, Key. I got my first vaccination about a week and a half ago, so I got another week and a half to go. But I don't do crowds.
No, listen, I'm gonna be right where I just
virtual.
Like I'm here with you.
Yeah, you go. I'm with you.
I'm not going up in anybody's overly crowded nothing until we figure this out.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, she is Tina Turner had a song, Simply the Best.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Well, Simply the Best. That's my sister right there, Miss Kelia Karson. Simply the Best. I love you,
Happy Easter.
Happy Good Friday. Happy Easter. We'll talk to you hopefully next week, right?
Yes.
All right, there, ladies and gentlemen. That's Miss Kelia Karson. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you. God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Show. Monday through Friday, live right here on YouTube, 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central Time, Chicago, 3:30 Pacific Time out in Los Angeles. The Geno Jones Show, brought to you by Lockwood Outdoor Advertising. Put your company's name, your product, your good, your service, your company's logo up in lights on this beautiful digital billboard. Lockwood Outdoor Advertising, the only African-American owned outdoor advertising company here in the state of South Carolina. Yes, I am, and we are here on the Geno Jones Show, all about supporting black businesses, and you should be too. Converting cars to cash, it'll do that for you. All right, the cars, the eyeballs in the cars, converted into cash money for you. Call 843-442-5011. 843-442-5011. Just go LockwoodOutdoor.com. LockwoodOutdoor.com. Got that? LockwoodOutdoor.com. All right, I want to thank everybody once again for watching. Mother, I love you. I know you're watching. Key said hi, she loves you too. And everybody watching, all my new subscribers, when I say I love you, I mean that. I really do. And just remember, everybody, love is an action word. I can say that I love you, but I want to show you, and I try to show you my love by trying to bring you the most entertaining, informative, compelling, heartfelt, compassionate, empathetic show with a sense of humanity, but a sense of social justice, just for everybody, but standing up for my community and all community, anybody oppressed. So you know that. You watch the show, you know what time it is, all right? So tomorrow's Friday, but I think I'm gonna do a Good Friday edition of the Geno Show, because this weekend we got the big Versus battle on Versus, Instagram still, and on Triller. We got Earth, Wind, and Fire versus the Isley Brothers. So for no other reason, I'm gonna come on and just talk about this battle and how phenomenal that we get to see Earth, Wind, and Fire without, God rest his soul, rest in peace, rest in paradise, rest in power, to the founder of Earth, Wind, and Fire, Mr. Maurice White, from the west side of Chicago, the Henry Horner Project, but his brother Verdine White is still a member of the group, and the legendary, iconic Brothers 3 from Cincinnati, which is just 2 now, Ronald Isley, Ernie Isley, the other 4 brothers, rest in power, peace, and paradise. They're still alive. And of course, and the brother-in-law, Chris Jasper. I would love to see Chris. We had him on as a guest. I don't know if he's going to be a part of it, but anyway, whether he is or not, you don't want to miss this. This is going to be history. It's going to be so much history watching this show. It's going to be great, iconic music. There's a bunch of y'all, the Isley brother babies. Y'all in your 40s now. A lot of you all were conceived for the love of you and sensuality and hello, it's me and choosy lover in between the sheets. Man, Ronald Isley, boy, he was, and in Earth, Wind, and Fire, Can't Hide Love, Reasons, Devotion, Shining Star, Boogie Wonderland, After the Love Is Gone. Man, don't get me started. All right, let me stop. I got to get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow, Friday, the special Good Friday Easter weekend jump-off edition of the Geno Jones Show, live right here, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on my YouTube channel. Until then, thank you for watching once again. Be blessed.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.